Hey, tough and the out of this world story from Street Travel. There are ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back in Street Travel. I am your host Manir.
Story 1. Update: I am 28 male with my fiancée 28 female of 6 months. I broke up with her, and now suddenly everyone is trying to convince me to reconsider. Original posts to start with. In my culture, you are not allowed to date in the traditional Western sense. You must make a vow before God and your families that you want to get to know each other with only the best of intentions. Let's call her Linda. We met, and there was a spark, a big enough spark that we decided that we wanted to get to know each other more. The only issue, she was over 1,000 miles away, and her father would not give his blessing without us going through the above ceremony first. We did with massive stipulation that this was only an engagement in the loosest sense of the term, and we just needed time to get to know each other to see if there's anything there. Well, it did not take long for that train to derail, and everyone started treating this as an actual marriage. Even she began to get SCKed in, not that she fought not to be. She wanted a ring. I said my budget is $3,000. She asked if I could make payments for the ring she actually wants, and I said no. So her dad put in an additional $5,000 to get her the ring she wanted. I should have slammed the brakes right then and there. I hate myself for not doing that. The day after the engagement party, she demanded that my family throw her another party when we flew back home. The reason? Her great-aunt, 79 years old, told my little sister, 13, that she was the cutest girl at the party, and my sister dared to repeat it to Linda in order to revise it. Apparently, this destroyed the party for her. She did not find out until several hours later, and she needed another. First off, my sister is not that kind of person, and even if she was, she's 13. I should have slammed the brakes there and made the mistake not to. Over the coming weeks, she would continue to alienate every member of my family, seeing disrespect from places that simply did not exist. Every slight was a full-on punch to her ego. People needed to know who her dad is. Every hangout of conversation ended with her criticizing that person for being stuck up, or a basic B, or some other thing. The negativity continued to the point that when it came time for her to fly back home for college, I was relieved. But the BS continued. She called screaming that her father deleted her shows off the DVR. I sympathized for a while, and then told her she needed to let it go. There was nothing that could be done. That was me taking her family's side over hers. I offered to pirate the shows that were deleted so she could watch them, but it's just not the same. That's basically how all of our interactions went. Something would happen, I'd be empathetic for as long as I could, regardless of how trivial it was, then I'd lose my patience and tell her she needs to learn how to get over SHT, or at the very least learn how to accept solutions. I was honest every single step of the way, but how much I don't like her bashing every single person in my life. But when she brought up her ex, it was only with praise, and if I criticized him in any way, she'd get very defensive. These are just the bare examples. I realize that we are just too different. We both have our faults, major faults, but I'm simply not mentally healthy enough to deal with that level of stress, negativity, and victimization. So I went home one night and told my family that I want to leave her. They were all fine with it. Apparently, they were just waiting for you to come around. So the next day I do just that. I call her, let her know it's over, and to end it. At least I thought I did. Her parents and her are in full panic mode, constantly calling my parents, begging them to beg me to reconsider because I tried to do the most respectful thing and keep these issues between us. I'm made to look like the bad guy who all of a sudden just decided I don't love her anymore. It's all so infuriating, and I don't know what to do. I don't want to give her another chance only to crush her again by breaking up further down the line. I care for her, I really do, but I can't stand her. I don't want to be with her. But now everyone is ganging up on me so bad that I'm starting to second-guess myself, and I don't want to be there. I don't know what to do at this point. Do I give her another chance even though I truly don't want to? If only out of respect for her father, who I have all the respect in the world for? Or do I stick to my guns, keep it broken off, and wait for the storm to pass? Now my opinion for Op. My friend, I think you answered your own question. You don't want to be with her, so don't throw your life away being with her. Just out of respect to her father. I understand that, but seriously, her family doesn't have to live with her. You do as her husband. So, you answered your own question there, my friend. Best of luck to you. Now for the comments before reading the update. Wait for the storm to pass. You dodged a bullet here, dude. Totally on you if you cave in and go back. Enjoy being miserable in that case. Thank you, that's the issue. I've told them that if I did go back to her, it would be purely because I feel sorry for her, which I do. I do feel bad that she's going through all this since she did not see it coming for some reason, but she should have considered that most of our conversations were fights, and I never lied to her. She knew how unhappy I was with her. She just did not see it coming for some reason, but she should have considered that most of our conversations were fights, and I never lied to her. She knew how unhappy I was with her. Her inability to add 2 plus 2 and get 4 is not your responsibility or your problem. It SCKS for her that her parents didn't raise her properly, but that she's 28 years old and has had plenty of time to correct her own failings. She's acting like a toddler throwing a tantrum, and her parents just want to buy her the toy to make her stop crying. But you're a person, not a toy, and getting back with her won't actually fix her problems. It will just make you miserable. Just wanted to tell you about my Indian friend who had reservations about the woman he was matched up with. She is gorgeous, but had the same red flags as your ex. He just assumed it was because there was a 5-year difference between them. Oh no, after marriage she came to the S. They had a son soon afterwards. A week after he was born, she called the police and stated my friend had beat her and molested their son. She got a restraining order, kept their son, and moved out with all their stuff. She couldn't claim the house because it was my friend's mom's house, who she also claimed beat her. After $35,000 in lawyer fees, receipts, social media evidence, it was proven he was at work or with friends when she claimed the abuse happened. She was also found to be neglectful of the child, who slept upstairs, not fed, etc. She did all of this because she had a boyfriend and believed once the child was born she could divorce and be with her boyfriend. After all, it wouldn't be her fault the marriage failed, and who would want a used woman? She kept the child to validate her story, but she was not interested in the child. This is obviously extreme, but it did happen, and it took 3 years to play out. I saw my bud become the most downtrodden, depressed man I'd ever seen. If she was just more cunning about her timeline, he would have been screwed. He's got full custody of his kid now, who he loves to pieces. But you can tell not a day goes by where he wishes he would have listened to himself more. Listen to yourself when something's not right. I'm Pakistani, and this sounds like the kind of cultural BS we have to deal with all the time. Stick to your guns, you're not even married yet, and this is what you're getting, and trust me, it doesn't get better. My marriage lasted 4 months, and it was not worth any of the hassle. And worst of all, once you're married, the pressure to stay together quadruples. It doesn't matter if you come across as the bad guy, that'll always be the case. If you want to, you could always write down exactly what she'd do and what you'd want her to change, as that will make looking for someone in the future easier. But don't show anyone unless you want major drama. Feel free to PM me if you want to talk further. Now for the update. It's now been 2 months since the breakup and the dust has settled, but not without issues. In the days after that post, I was bombarded by members of my family asking me to reconsider. I felt mentally assaulted from every angle, constantly needing to justify my actions, being reminded of how much money had been spent, or that I'm not exactly getting any younger, but they underestimated how stubborn I can be when I've made up my mind. I was in shouting matches with my dad every time I got home, though to be honest, I had never told him about her issues, so from his perspective, everything was perfect. Then suddenly I did not want her anymore, but still it was exhausting. The only ones that stood by me the entire time were my brother, sister, and best friend. Several days later, I am feeling mentally exhausted, anxiety attacks to the point that I actually thought I might be having a heart attack. The final straw was my own mother calling me after speaking with her dad, telling me to think about it out of respect for her dad. I found myself barking in a voice I'd never used before and yelled, "I'm not marrying her, Dad," at which point I totally broke down and hung up on her. I sat there in my car feeling abandoned and betrayed, sobbing uncontrollably. She tried calling me back several times, and I ignored them until I stopped crying. Finally, I picked up, and she quietly said, "I'm sorry, I'm confused, but I don't want to do this to you, please forgive me." Then I walked into class and totally bombed my final exam, 40%. The next day I went home and the tone had changed considerably. My dad was trying to understand but having a hard time with it. He so desperately wants to see me happy and married. So I'm not proud of this, but I told him everything that she had done that led to my decision. I know I did not need to justify myself to him in this way, but he's my dad. His opinion actually does matter to me. So I needed him to know the full picture. It was probably the worst week of my life, but it's over now, and I'm happier for it. Life has moved on, and I'm starting to date again, but I still think about her from time to time. My family has since apologized, begging that I forgive them. What can I do? They're still my parents, and they do truly feel bad about the way that they behaved, but some part of me still feels the sting of total betrayal. I hope I can one day completely let it go. I'm not posting this to bash my family or Linda anymore. I'm doing it because deciding whether you want to be in a relationship or not is one of the few times in life when you are allowed to think only about what you want and no one else. There were times when I pondered if I was the crazy one and if I really was making a mistake. Thank goodness I kept my head together enough not to go back. You are the only one who knows if you're happy or not. Regardless of what anyone says, it's not selfish. It's self-preservation. Edit. After I told my parents everything that she did, they did agree with me and totally support me now. They've got the full picture. Even my dad has come around to thank me for clarifying. He realizes now that she would have torn me away from them. The thing is that while I was still trying to make things work with her, I was afraid that if I did tell them how terrible she was, they would have influenced my decision. I wanted the breaking up with her to be on me, only me. I tried to do the mature thing, but like many replying to this said, I was looking at it through a Western lens. Story 2. I, a 33 female, won't share gift cards with my husband, 33 male, plus update. Original post. I, a 33-year-old female, have a type of job in one of the care industries. While I do work for an actual company, sometimes the clients that use the services of the company are so grateful of the level of care that an individual employee may give to their loved one, they feel moved to give us gifts for our efforts. These gifts can range anywhere from a bouquet of flowers to homemade store-bought treats, gift cards, etc. Anytime I get delicious treats from clients, I always share them with my husband, 33 male. However, if I come with a gift card like a $1.25 Amazon card or a $1.50 Visa, my husband wants me to share those as well. One time I came home with 4 gift cards, Target, a Visa, and 2 Amazon. When he saw them, he started talking about how I need to share them since no one gets him gifts for his work. He works in construction. He moped about it, and I do love him. He works hard, and I gave him one of my Amazon gift cards and insisted on keeping the other ones for myself, since these are gifts from clients I work with for the care of their loved ones. Recently I had been given gift cards again, and when he saw them he asked what I planned on getting with them. So I told him, and the items I had planned on getting would be strictly for me, and he scoffed at that. He started complaining again about why and how I should share or get something that benefits both of us. We went back and forth for a bit. I reminded him I always spend my own money for things that benefit us both or that we can both enjoy, and that when I use these gift cards I always get something I can't always afford with my own money. He kept insisting I share. He brought up the fact that it wasn't fair that even though I shared an Amazon gift card with him before, he ended up with nothing because Amazon messed up his order and he never received his item. But he got a refund. I told him that that was not my fault at all. And at that point I got really annoyed and told him to leave me alone. He made a comment about me not being raised to share. I'm an only child, And I got mad and told him that that's a sibling mentality and only works with parents and their kids. Get over yourself, and I walked off. He side-eyed me. I kind of feel bad about it, but honestly I just want my gift to be mine. I work with a new set of clients every few months, so this is a frequent occurrence. Is there a better way I can respond or handle it better in the future? Some extra context. We are not exactly well off, but bills are always paid and our fridge is always full. We can afford to treat ourselves once a month, and we always treat ourselves together or we don't leave each other out. But like if we want to get ourselves something really nice like a set of weights or a nail art care kit, that it's a sacrifice the other does not benefit from. So we put purchases like that on the back burner for a while. We have gifted each other just because in the past as well. Edit. For more context, we are 50-50 in the sense that he covers a set of bills and I cover a set of bills, not that we both take money from our accounts and pay together for all of the bills. We honestly live paycheck to paycheck and make just enough to have all of our needs covered. We both discuss with each other, but we rarely, and I mean rarely, stop each other from getting something we want. One more edit. A $50 Visa is a very rare occurrence. Only got one once. I'm only getting maybe 1 or 2 gift cards every 6 months to a year. Not anywhere near monthly. Last time I got 4 gift cards, it was in February of this year, and only 2 of them were $25 Amazon cards. One of them I gave to my husband. The other 2 I kept were $10 at Target and $10 at Starbucks. It has been 9 months since I got a gift card, and this time I only got 2. What we got into is one $25 gift card. The other one is Starbucks, and he hates Starbucks and doesn't even care about that one. Now for the update. I didn't think any financial details were relevant in this situation about gift cards, so I'll clarify that. My husband works construction, and I work in the care industry that is not medical. In fact, the field I work in is customary U.S. to give gift cards to the workers during a designated appreciation week or during Christmas holidays. So I only get gifts twice a year, more than 6 months apart usually, and the most gift cards I've ever gotten was 4. But the value of those gift cards usually don't amount to more than maybe $50 to $5 Starbucks, $10 Target, $25 Amazon to give an example. The rest are usually skincare gifts or food items. The one time I get a $50 Visa gift card, we went to an expensive restaurant with it for the record. My husband and I do not celebrate birthdays and holidays, and this is a mutual decision between both of us. We have no children. We consider ourselves 50-50, but it goes like this. My husband makes more than I do. He takes on all the utility bills, including internet and cell phone service, covers health insurance and car insurance. I inherited a house that needed repairs. There is no mortgage, but there is a home repair loan. I pay monthly, and I pay the car note for a car I purchased since the home belongs to me. I choose on the responsibility of saving for property taxes after we are done paying our bills with our own separate accounts. We usually have a few $100s left in our individual accounts. We put that together and use that to buy groceries, bath, home, and essentials. We treat ourselves once a month. We share almost every interest and hobby. So say if one person wants to go to the comic book store as a treat, we both walk out with comics. If one wants to buy a video game, that's cool because we're both gamers. Or we take a drive to the beach, go see a movie, go out for dinner, etc. We're not rich, but we can afford to get takeout twice a week. We try not to. We treat each other and gift each other when we can. I am fortunate enough to have clothes given to me by family members that happen to shop at expensive department stores. The clothes are nice, barely worn, or will even still have tags on them. I actually love this since my family is very fashionable and only give me good stuff. I have absolutely no problem with this. Since I get clothes for free, I often buy my husband clothes, especially since he wears them out faster. He would take clothes from others if he could, but there are no men in his family or mine his size. We are not perfect, but we honestly don't argue. Any disagreements we have, we can either talk it out or agree that it's not serious enough to get too deep off into. I recently got a couple of gift cards because of the holiday season. One is $5 at Starbucks, the other is $25 at Amazon. I brought up that I may have a package showing up soon because I wanted to buy something for myself from Amazon, and he suggested we should share that card and get something for both of us. I disagreed, and we said some not so nice things to each other. The actual update. I read all of the comments from the previous post, and while I appreciate your concern, I am in no way being financially abused or given the short end of any sticks. We both share the burden of living and are doing fine. I asked him about why he got miffed at me wanting to use the $1.25 Amazon gift card I was gifted for myself, and he admitted he'd hoped I would get something for the house since the kitchen is lacking some equipment, and that he knows $25 is not much, but it could make something nice cheaper. He then told me I don't have to do that. I asked him why he brought up me being an only child, and he said, I don't know, because I guess I'm just used to having to share and such with my sisters, but I guess that's different. I reminded him we share everything except makeup and clippers, and reminded him it's not my fault my mom couldn't have more of me, just like it's not his fault his family had to stretch resources, and comparing our childhoods is not going to cut it in any of our situations. I told him I wanted to get a poly gel nail kit so I could do my own nails again. I lost my old stuff in a fire, and he said I do like when your nails are done. Then we went out for a nice breakfast. So yeah, keeping my darn gift card. The end. Thank you and good night. Story 3. I am a 36-year-old female who got pregnant, and I'm terrified it will ruin my daughter's relationship with me and my husband, 56 male. My 36 female husband, 56 male, and I had our youngest child almost 9 years ago, and we decided that we didn't want any more children, and that it was best for him to get a vasectomy. He had a vasectomy, and it was 100% effective until now that it failed. And an abortion was never an option because I honestly don't think I'm capable of doing it. So we decided to keep the baby. And after talking about it a lot, we told our daughters I won't lie. They weren't happy at all. They weren't angry either, but we know them, and although they pretended to be happy, we know that they weren't. And it is totally understandable because all of them are at an age where they no longer want babies at home. The only one who had a genuine reaction was our youngest daughter, because she has been saying for years that she wanted to have a younger brother. But the rest, even weeks after the announcement, are still processing what we told them, and that's driving me crazy. I never imagined having children at my age because I knew that having a daughter when I was so young would mean that she would be an adult if I had a baby in my mid-30s. So now my biggest fear is that they will feel embarrassed, or that the beautiful relationship they have with me and their dad will be ruined by this. Is it possible that everything flows in a positive way and that our relationship is not affected by this new baby? Of course, I don't expect them to have a sibling relationship because there's a big age difference. They're between 18 and 8, but I just want them to accept him. By the way, that's another thing that makes me anxious. They are all girls, and this time it's a boy, and maybe that also affects their bond as siblings. Could that be possible? Edit. I'm so sorry if it sounded like I said 36 is too old to have kids. I swear I don't think that. I know it's a young age, I just didn't want to have children at this age because my eldest daughter especially would be an adult. And it could be a weird dynamic for everyone.